To the next one. What is the first thing that pops up in your head when you hear the word Java? You will be presented with several text boxes where you can enter, any tags, any terms that you like. So when you hear the word Java, what is the first thing that pops up in your head? That would allow us to actually understand what Java means to you. And later we could compare with, a different point of view from someone who has very profound experience in the language and in the ecosystem. Okay, we already have answers popping up. We have programming, enterprise, I can see. We have creating function for app, okay. We have programming with 1M, we have programming with 2Ms, okay, that is nice. Probably those two answers can be combined. We have coffee, yeah, pretty reasonable. We have games, okay, just a few seconds to complete that. We have 29 people, 30 people, okay, easy peasy. Well, we'll see about that. Programming language, Android, internet. Okay, just a few more seconds. Okay, looks like the winner here is programming in different interpretations, programming language, programming and programming, IT, language, Minecraft, okay, good one, actually. Easy peasy class, Minecraft, and it's struggle. Well, struggle. Please, explain that in case you have entered that term. Okay, very nice. And, that is the view that we have accumulated from all of you. It's kind of a tech cloud. Now let's compare what Java is all about from the perspective of experienced Java developer. And on this note, I'm handing over to Pavel, who's gonna explain what Java is all about from his point of view. Okay, Pavel.
Yeah, hey everyone. Let me know if you can see my screen. You should be seeing the slide about me. Hopefully that's so. So my name is Pavel Lityaga, and I was doing software engineering, design, and architecture for probably the last 15 years. Mainly focused on automated testing, continuous integration, continuous delivery, and many other stuff. Meanwhile, being a proud father of a 3-year-old daughter. Okay, so if we want to start talking about the associations that pop into my mind when I think of Java, we should probably start from locating the Java in the world of modern application. And one way to look at that is dividing the application into two big parts. One of them is front end, something you see on the user interface. And the second part, the hood one, is the back end, which is not visible to user, but definitely the larger part of the application in terms of implementation, code, and stuff under the water. So in 2021, on the front end, we have JavaScript, HTML, some native UIs like you have on your mobile phones or maybe on desktop. And on the backend side, we have C++, Python, Golang, and Java, which is probably very big part of that iceberg and likely not visible much from different standpoints. But anyway, once we put Java in some view, in some iceberg, let us look at the skill set, which where is Java in your skill set? So if it's going to be a single thing that you remember from this application, from this presentation, I'd like it to be the following. Regardless what language you choose to learn first, you will likely end up learning more languages on the way. So in these terms, your skills are like growing tree. So maybe you have started from Java and you have a backend, but maybe your application wants to have a fancy UI, or well, it's user facing in the end. So you'll have a front end. Maybe your application then is needed to be deployed somewhere. Your code runs on some hardware, and hopefully that's not your garage, so it's in cloud. So you need a cloud skills as well. The next, maybe your application grows and it should be scalable and should be stable. So you look at architecture, microservices, and again, maybe you want to do an artificial intelligence or machine learning to do some analytics over the data you have in your application. And the funny thing that Java is behind all of those, and it helps you build so-called term full stack. So full stack means you know all of that. And the good or bad news here is, like, if you want to be successful in the industry, you probably have to be full stack, and you should be knowing all of these or most of these areas, and Java, helps you being knowing things in every of these items on the tree. Okay, so if I need many languages, why should I start Java, you may be asking yourself? Well, first, experience is important in many areas. If you messed up your experience with an ice cream, probably you will be hating it for the rest of your life. And well, the same with software engineering. As for me, I've started from different language. I've been doing Delphi. This is very old-fashioned thing. Google it if you like. But it was a nice platform. It was, workable. But when I looked at Java 2 years later, like I was pretty experienced developer, two years of production. I was like, wow, that's how you do object-oriented programming, or that's how you do the standard library. That's how dependency management is organized. I was kind of, very surprised on the one hand. On the other hand, well, I've maybe not lost, but I've spent 2 years of finding answers, not the best ones probably. And the Java is well structured. It is thought through, safe, strongly typed. And in some way, platform itself guides you how to do things right, saving you a lot of frustration, or helping leveling up much faster than you'll do with, like I did with Delphi. And well, once you've mastered the basic stuff on the web iceberg, you will probably look at more fancy stuff. And well, probably that's mobile. And in case you didn't know, the Android, I think I saw Android in the tech cloud you've formed. It's Android is Java main language. Java is Android main language. And well, distributed systems, again, Java, and games like Minecraft, or big data processing, or even Internet of Things. All of that is having Java as its foundation. Your perspectives, if you started from Java, or if you know Java, not necessarily started, are much wider than other languages. It just opens up many doors at once. Yeah, and diving into new tech, you first time, or even if it's not your first time, you may notice that tooling, by the way, the next word in our cloud, gives you a very huge difference. Like it's like crawling versus flying, with good tooling versus bad tooling. And tooling, I mean integrated development environments, frameworks, SDKs. All of that helps you focusing on solving the business problem, your main task, your main target. And if you don't have good tooling, you are likely to be focusing on standard things like logging, like how do I debug, how do I save stuff, how do I write tests, how do I do dependency management again. This all is solved in the Java ecosystem, in Java tooling. It's top-notch tools without the exaggeration on the Java world. Just look at IDEs. And well, all that I've mentioned is attributes of major technology that has been around for a long time. Java is 25 years already. And well, Java had time to grow that tooling, to grow that skill set. But what about the modern part? Like, is it really a modern language? And well, I have to say it probably is, since in recent times there has been special efforts to make it more modern, to make it move faster. And one of these is 6 months cadence for major releases. You get new stuff for the language 6 months, every 6 months, guaranteed. So this enables moving features faster. This enables a lot of new stuff in a very fast manner, and allowing to change things fast. Among those are, for example, functional capabilities to the language, like you can do Lambda and higher order functions and so on. You can do the modules were added recently, and many syntax improvements. So it's pretty recent. The other thing about being modern is to have a top efficiency of internal stuff. Like Java virtual machine is probably the most efficient one on the market. The garbage collection, this is memory management, is also top level. There is also an indexes of languages showing up that Java is top 1 or 2 of interest in the industry for search and for materials to learn. That said, the scale is our next word, meaning it's the main language for enterprise systems. That means big companies choose Java to solve their critical challenges, the critical stuff for their businesses. And critical means tons of users, very high throughput, huge data volumes. And this is simply tasks that you can't meet, that you can't get anywhere else. Like it's like comparing small town stuff with running a huge city with millions of people, and all of them need to be taken care of. And in these terms, Java is a synonym for scale, because it's just the main language for system that scales well. The other thing, probably the most important for the start in programming, is community. Millions developers. This is literally millions. Large projects in enterprise means many people. And if you think of Lithuania, Java community in the world is 3 times Lithuania population. And well, just imagine, like you have 3 countries around to help you with courses, to help to conduct conferences, learning materials. And engineer is always a learner. So having good support and learning is very hard to overestimate. It's super important, especially at start. I'll conclude my part of presentation with big names, just to not to leave the perception that Java is just an enterprise, big world of big businesses. Well, no, it's not so. Java is in a world of fun with Minecraft. It helps controlling Mars rover and some other NASA projects. It does data handling in Wikipedia. It's a lot of technologies, like internal technologies related. Airbnb, Uber, and many other stuff. Maybe you will be working on the next big project with Java on backend, and I could probably put the name of that project on this slide. With that said, hopefully I'll give some more words to the Java vocabulary of yours, and maybe this view is more complete now and closer to the industry. Well, handing off to you, Kirill. Thanks for attention.
Thank you, Pavel, for a very in-detail explanation. And now it is time to ask questions you might have so far. So please post them in the chat. And while we're thinking, reminding you that in the end, we're going to have a quiz. And, well, quiz on Java and related areas. So in case, well, please stay tuned because we're going to be raffling a brand new smartwatch for anyone who's going to win. So please stay tuned, listen attentively to the presentation because some of the questions are going to be related to the content of the presentation that we have here, okay? And so far we don't have, okay, we have a question. What resources would you recommend to study Java? Pavel, we're going to pick up this one.
Yeah, well, I would say you better start writing some code on Java, and that would help you, asking questions and well, learning stuff. And Stack Overflow guides you. It's not a resource, but I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. Well, beyond that, there are very nice courses on Coursera, and I think the next part of our presentation is going to answer this as well. There are tons of internal courses and materials at EPAM, and as for open ones, well, not sure I can give more beyond the obvious ones like Coursera or web learning platforms.
Okay,
Hope that helps a little bit.
We have another one. Why is it said that Java has high entrance threshold? What do you think?
That's an interesting one. I wouldn't say this is very high. Maybe it's a little bit higher than some languages. Maybe it's related to the notion of JVM, like you have to understand what is Java virtual machine, which is not obvious if you are the newbie. Like the code is running on virtual machine rather than running on browser or running on your operational system. Maybe that's one harder thing to get. The other thing, yeah, like just to run Java code, you have to install Java, and that's the first step that's kind of tricky. But after that, well, Hello World's thing is pretty simple. I think I did it myself a long time ago in a couple hours. So don't hesitate to try it. It's very simple. These days it's even simpler. And well, what else? Why is it higher? The syntax is pretty straightforward, I would say. If you compare it to other languages, it's either similar or simpler. By the way, Java doesn't have pointers, for example, and that makes it easier to understand than other languages. Well, I don't know. I've been so long with Java that it feels like almost natural to me. So I'm not sure I can come up quickly with why is it have a high threshold. Guys, maybe you can help me.
Yeah, I believe that I will partially also cover this topic, but only partially, because my perception that there's some kind of the myth around the Java itself. So Java's technology itself does not have huge threshold for entrance, but there is notion of development skills that you will eventually need to learn. So, and I will cover this.
Okay, thank you, guys. Probably we have a very related question. What is the worst, hardest part of Java?
Worst? Did I misunderstand?
Yeah, it is the worst or hardest.
The tough one.
The tough one. Well, the first thing that pops into mind is the multi-threading. That's not something you would face immediately. Well, the doing UI with Java is not very fancy currently, I think. Like any desktop stuff, it doesn't have much attention currently, so it's mostly backend. Tough stuff. Well, Java is simple. Nothing special. Just open IDE, type some lines, run it, and well, it will guide you. It's not a big statement. You'll get a lot of guidance from the language, from the way you just run things, and yeah, maybe it's a hard one to see how your application is drawn on your desktop. Maybe this could be difficult, but if you're doing web development, that's nothing is, especially if you do it with Spring. Well, try Spring first. That's spinning up something for you very quickly.
Yeah, I would also agree with Pavel. I believe that the most kind of tricky part and advanced part of Java is multi-threading and memory model, probably. That's you will just need to learn, and as soon as you will get familiar with that, things will become easy, I think.
Okay, thank you guys. Hopefully it answered the questions that we had. And the last one currently we have, is it really useful to prepare sort of a portfolio to enter some training or job?
Well, probably I'll take this one as well. So the interviews I conduct doesn't really include, the presentation of yours. Well, maybe that's different for different interviewers, but it's more important how you build your code during interview. Like, be prepared to do some coding on interview. Be prepared to answer open questions which are not about what is this or what is that, which are more like, how would you approach some task, and be prepared to explain how would you do that, rather than show, hey, this is cool stuff I've done. This is probably the nice thing to do on your social network profile, like LinkedIn or Facebook, like showing people what is it, and maybe your interviewer would review it preparing to the interview, but it's not for the interview session itself.
Yeah, I can second to Pavel as well. So I believe your engineering skills are much more important than your pure Java knowledge. So Java, that's something that you can learn really quick, but engineering skills need to be acquired, and with the time, your skill will become more and more mature. That's important.
Okay, thank you guys. And actually one more, is there a possibility to work in your company after 1 year study Java from scratch? Well, actually we'll be discussing that topic, related topics in our next presentation. So hopefully this is going to answer what you have in regards with Java from scratch. Okay, before I'm actually handing over to Andrei, reminding you, in case
thank you.
that we're going to have a quiz in the end, so please stay tuned. And well, I'm passing the floor to Andrei, which is going to explain what it takes to be a good Java developer and how to become one. Andrei?
Yeah, thank you, Kirill. But in order to close the loop and make it really quick, just to answer the question, the short form of the answer would be there are different positions with different requirements. And when we're speaking for different levels, there is a notion, let's say, junior developer or something like that, who is starting this career, and it will require some level of supervision. But yeah, for a certain occasion, it's possible. But we will cover it later on. Okay, now let me proceed with my presentation. Let me make sure that everything is working as expected. Okay, looks like this. Okay, hey everyone, one more time. Glad that you joined this session. My name is Andrei Dubatovka, and I am project manager here at EPAM. But actually started my career as a Java developer, and so that's actually how I connected to that event. I actually was in your shoes more than 10 years ago, trying to figure out what I will be doing for a living and where to start my programming career. And I really hope that by the end of this evening, I'll share with you some of the tips for your consideration. I will give you actually the presentation over the Java community, its services, and specifically for community school offerings and what you can get out of it. But before we'll deep dive into details, let's do a quick recap on the first session that Pavel was giving and see how you can actually apply your Java knowledge in practice and what additional skills we will need to acquire to be successful in building real applications. If you remember the question, we were saying that Java itself is not enough, and you will need to also grasp some of the general development skills. We will uncover exactly what does it mean. And looking ahead, that's not something specific for Java only. That's not. The exercise will be more or less the same if we will look for any other technologies of your choice. But this exercise will give you the idea how versatile that backend programming actually is, and you will get familiar with one of the most popular area of application for Java, which is web application programming. And in order to become familiar with this concept, let's simulate building of a simple ride-sharing application, really like an Uber, that generate routes on a streets map for the passenger according to the provided source and destination points. For simplicity, we will skip all the advanced details and we'll be articulating on the level of components, like which are tiny bricks or layers of application. And for each such a component, we will see what skills are required, and eventually we will build the entire tree of competencies and skills that you will need to learn eventually to build such an application. Okay, so let's rock now. So the first component, which is really heart of the entire system, is the routes engine. You might think of this the component of this component as a black box with complex logic inside of it, with some kind of magic happening inside. So actually, this magic will accept source and destination points as an input and will provide you with generated route as an output. As I said before, we will be reading this with a pure Java, nothing more than Java. But as soon as we will be articulating the different data structures and we'll apply different algorithms on top of them and possibly use some of the existing libraries, so we will use a big chunk of skills that we will be calling later on as general development skills that I was referencing previously, actually. Moreover, let's make this case more complicated, and let's imagine that now we're working in a group of developers, because functionality is complex enough and there is enough work to split and actually to work simultaneously. So in order to figure out how we can actually merge our code bases and resolve any conflicting changes, so we will need a special tool and special knowledge how to work with that tool. So that's exactly where the version control system goes for. Moving next. Me as a project manager, I will insist you to consider covering your complex logic with some level of automated testing. And unit testing is a really good candidate for doing that. This might save you tons of the time further down the road when you will be actually implementing your logic later on. And actually, this will allow you to sleep well, because you will know that your changes that you are introducing later on are not actually introducing you breaking changes, and your previous code-based implementation works really well. All you need to note here is that there are different layers of automated testing, but let's consider unit testing here just for simplicity, and you will eventually need to know different frameworks and how to apply mocking as a certain mechanism and how to actually work with all such kind of stuff. Moving next. If you remember, our application is supposed to be web-based, and so now we need to consider the way to expose our routes engine to the web. So the good idea is to actually expose some level of interface or API, which you might think of as a set of instructions in order to interact with our routes engine component via internet. And one of the API clients instances is actually REST. Another hint for us to streamline the implementation is to reuse any of the existing application frameworks, and Spring really one of the good candidates from Java ecosystem that can actually allow you to save a lot of time by focusing on the configuration and fine-tuning rather than implementation. Implementation of the common steps that are pretty standard for the application of the same of the kind. So now let's consider that we actually want to connect our backend and provide end user with interface to interact with. And that's exactly the reference to the Pavel's presentation. The Pavel was telling us that there is a tiny layer of user interface and there is a more major piece of the iceberg hidden under the water surface. So right now we want to introduce this front-end client, and possibly we will have a wish to introduce the mobile client as well. So those branches itself might be developed significantly in depth, but for simplicity, and we really can cope with that, we can introduce some level of basic knowledge for JavaScript and some styling knowledge as well. So for mobile, this branch again might evolve significantly, especially if you want to introduce any native capabilities of existing mobile platforms. But for simplicity, as I said, let's keep it as is. Let's keep it simple. So moving next. Now let's make the case even more complex. So we will eventually need to store some of the, let's say, user information, any data associated with served requests, or probably routes generated by our application. So we will need to introduce some kind of the storage and introduce some layer of our application that will communicate to that storage. And that's exactly where the database will come for. All you need to know here is that there are different types of database, and you will eventually need to pick up the best choice for your specific case. And in order to interact with this database storage, you will need to learn some of the SQL fundamentals, or probably you will want to articulate on the level of high abstractions what the object relationship mapping framework stands actually for. One more hint from project manager is actually to introduce some of the logging across all of the layers, because bugs are inevitable and you can quickly end up with troubleshooting some of the production issues that are happening on your production instance, but having no clue what exactly is happening and what is leading to such type of the behavior. Logging might help you to replay user behavior leading to such type of the issue, and so you can quickly reproduce it. So therefore logging is really important. So but this adds additional branch on our tree of competencies. So as you might see, it already has grown significantly, and we can even keep this application more and more complex. So this will lead eventually for more and more branches appear on the graph. But I think you got the idea that you eventually need to learn continuously in order to be able to handle more complex requirements, deliver entire solution rather than small bricks of functionality, and eventually keep yourself up to date with last technology trends. But don't be scared. This is a standard learning path for most of the developers, and even independent of the choice of the technology, whether it's Java or other technology. And I have really good news for you. A Java community can help you to acquire all the necessary skills to become ready for production projects. Let me introduce you MJC. We are MJC, and MJC abbreviation actually stands for More Than Java Community. In order to better understand the services provided by the community itself, let us visualize them at a building. So first and foremost, we're passionate about building the platform for Java professionals, networking, and collaboration. We are open for any engineers working with Java technologies, as well as new talents willing to connect their career with Java world and become a true Java professionals. Community is a really good place to meet like-minded people sharing the same working context. And on this visualization, you might see that there are different production companies and engineers coming to the community from them by using those tiny tunnels connecting the building and production companies themselves, because real production experience is really valuable. One of the significant driving force of the community itself is the expert stream. Stream enables knowledge sharing and production experience accumulation within the community. Production-grade professionals are sharing their experience and ready to support community members in resolving any type of the production-grade issues. You might think of it as a set of groups or guilds or even tribes, if you will, that unites people based on their interest, based on the area of interest, or even based on the problem. So, and within those groups, the actual knowledge accumulation is happening. One more thing that you might notice on the roof is actually visual association of the direction that is currently less evolved within the community itself. We are calling it as a community can invest into some sort of the R&D projects and support any trending or promising industry projects or technologies by actually contributing to it. Such type of service are available on the top of the solid layer of expert stream. So as you might see on the image currently. And now let's move to my favorite floor, floor number 1, or let's say ground floor, if you will. That's floor dedicated to the educational services. Community can provide such educational services under its own umbrella by our own sources, or with support, let's say partnering with other educational service providers or with other companies having interest to support and develop the community. Let's see what the benefits community school has and can actually offer to you. So first and foremost, this is free of charge. We are open to anyone willing to connect the further career path with Java world. We are providing the most attractive thing, which is called mentoring. At a certain stage of your learning curve, community can assign you with a real mentor who is a real production grade engineer that can provide you with valuable feedback and can walk you through or guide you through the training program, helping you to become and mature as a Java professional. We always focusing to the real production demand and adjusting our training programs. So therefore, by that, you can always make sure that your skills are in demand. By attending the educational services itself, you actually have the entry point to the community. And as visualized on this image, you might take this elevator on the side of the building and access to any floor of your need. And that's actually visualization and symbolism for the message that you can actually have access to all the services provided under the community umbrella. One more thing is that we're not only focusing for lifting career for new talents, for new prospects, let's say, but we are also can accelerate and boost career development for already active members of the community. So let's say a production grade engineer is working and having a lack for some particular knowledge of some particular competency. So he can attend this gym, and which is a symbol of specialized level of the training and boost his lacking area. Very important thing that we also need to make sure to cover is knowledge sharing culture. So this is a really important pillar that all the floors are built on top of. Once attending the educational services and getting the knowledge, you might become the production grade engineer and actually return back to the community and share your knowledge. You can attend the experts community and share your experience here as well. Or even you can lift back to the educational floor and become a mentor or a lecturer and actually educate new talents and help them to live their career within the Java world. So that's a very important pillar that we are encouraging within our community. One last but not least is employment possibility. And that's exactly the answer for the question that was already raised. So as soon as you are attending the educational trainings and educational programs, and you are actually building connection to real production grade engineers working for production companies, and you are building this visibility bridge between you and production company. And at a certain stage, if you show yourself well enough, you might be given with an employment offer from production grade company. So that's really important, and that's nice to have feature which happening kind of often, I would say. So important message that community always provides you with services of your current need at any significant point of time within your career. So I'm glad to present one more thing here, that we are actually launching the training program, and this time we're launching it together with our big partner, EPAM Training Center, and launching it exclusively for Lithuanian audience. As you might see on the slide, the learning curve itself is split into 4 stages. So the first stage is by participating in the series of online sessions, you will learn basic fundamentals and brace yourself for more advanced things coming at the stage number 2. The goal of that stage is actually to develop individual web project similar to the ride-sharing application that we have just considered. The most successful trainees will enroll for the 3rd stage, really important stage from my standpoint. Here you will be assigned with a mentor that will guide you through the series of modules. There will be strict schedule for completing home tasks, and you will be giving the demo sessions by completing those tasks to the group of mentors. And mentor will exchange with you valuable feedback, helping you to develop yourself within the Java career. And at that stage, actually, some of you might get employment offerings already. The 4th stage is really optional one, and it simulates the work for real production project. This is an opportunity to work in a team and get the idea of planning process. Some layer of processes will be applied on top of that. So you will get the essence how the teamwork actually looks like. So you also might get more details over the training program itself and actually enroll for it by navigating to the training.epam.com and look for Java Web Development Training, or just scanning this QR code. Really recommending you to do this even right now while this QR code is appearing on the screen. Some more also advanced details you might find by participating or navigating to mjc.school, which is a site dedicated to MJC School. Or you can explore yourself some of the materials which are still in progress and dedicated for MJC School at GitHub. So links are provided and visible on the screen. I will keep this slide active for a second. Well, that's pretty it. Thanks for watching me, and really hope that those tips were valuable to you. I highly encourage all of you to enroll to the training program and hope to see new faces and active members of the community. If you have something to share, or you want to become a speaker for any topic of interest, you're also more than welcome. So feel free to contact the organizers of that event, and hope we will see you soon. Stay tuned to other community events and updates. Thank you one more time. And now this is time for questions. And by that, I'm passing it over back to Kirill. Kirill, please go ahead.
Thank you, Andrei, for excellent presentation. So right now, please post any questions you might have on the content that was just presented by Andrei into the chat. We'll be happy to answer what you have. I'm just going to sum up what has been discussed, that community education is going to take like 3.5 months for the mentoring process. And in the end, in case you're successful, EPAM would be making a job offer, and well, we'll be happy to see you among our employees. We had a question related to the links that were actually pictured in the slide, and right now our colleagues are helping with the links, so you can see all those links posted in the chat. So for additional information, you can follow them. We hope that everything you might need regarding the school, regarding the education process is there. In case you have more questions, please send them into the chat. Otherwise, we'll be continuing with the quiz. Okay, we have several just comments. Thank you for the links, probably. Okay, good. We have, okay, we have the next question regarding the schedule. What is the schedule? So right now we have all information posted in the links, but the idea is that we're starting on the 18th of March, and the schedule for the first two mandatory phases is going to take like 3.5 months. And next is the mentoring process, and well, depending on the intensity of the tasks that we have there, and depending on the schedule with different public holidays and whatnot, it's going to take another probably 3 months. After that, we have an optional stage, which is teamwork. So we're starting on the 18th of March. Okay, hopefully I answered that. Next question, do you have job position for people which don't have experience with Java, but have engineering job experience? Okay, I believe that I can cover that. It pretty much depends on the demand that we have currently in the company, and currently all the open listings, I believe, are available at career.epam.com. But in most cases, and more often, we have a pretty, I believe, specific skills. For example, Java, .NET, front-end engineering, and whatnot. So I believe the best place to study and to learn that, basically the available positions and what is currently open or not, is careers.epam.com. But generally, you know, engineering experience is a very good starting point for more specific training, like the Java training, and it will give you a leg up in the education process. And I believe that more detailed or kind of more focused trainings are going to get more easier. If you guys feel you can supplement me with the more comments, feel free to pitch in.
No, I just completely second what Kirill just said, that having the engineering background will help you to lift your career really quick. You can learn what Java is and apply your knowledge in combination with Java knowledge. And so that's really good background that will help you to evolve your career really quick. So completely agree with Kirill.
Okay, thank you. And next, what is required English level to get a job offer? Well, in most cases, yes, English is a must-have to get a job offer, and it is really good in case you have at least B1 English level, which is, I believe, intermediate level. But depending on the use case, depending on the exact position, it may vary. So I would say that in case you have less than B1, you should try to spend some time to actually boost your English level and your English expertise. In case you cannot, you should try nevertheless, because, well, times vary actually, and in different cases, we might have positions that do not require, B1 or upper, and in some cases, it's just okay to have something. Basic. Yeah.
Additional comment from my end actually is that we are never considering and actually assessing just command of English without reference to other engineering skills, to the past experience, past background, and so on and so forth. So all such things are considered all together, and this really depends on the specific case. And depends on the position that you're applying for. So sometimes the setup on the project, the team setup itself, can actually allow you to having like a minimal English level just to enter and develop your knowledge on English, but actually already start working for production projects. We are having such type of the cases. But again, the key point here that we are considering all the competencies, all the skills all together.
Yeah, thank you, Andre. Would it be easier to study Java with JS, HTML, CSS backgrounds? Andre, that is probably to you.
Well, so speaking for, would it be kind of easy to learn? Most likely, yes, because more or less that's still engineering background, and this will help you to kind of get the basic idea or probably map your new knowledge to your past experience. So therefore, you can that might accelerate your learning curve actually. So, but I would also comment it from a different standpoint because there is a good notion of, let's say, full stack engineer, or let's say T-shape engineer. That means that apart from your major focus knowledge, let's say Java, for instance, it's also kind of in demand that you need to learn additional skills on top of it. And knowing front-end experience, that's actually, and Java, in addition to that, will make you a really good candidate that will be in demand, because you can actually implement everything starting from the bottom to the top, starting from the, let's say, Java and backend and even persistence, and you can implement feature even on the front-end level. So such kind of specialists are always in demand.
Thank you, Andre. Next one. How many people do you plan to recruit for the courses? Okay, I'm taking this one. And right now the plan is that we're gonna accept everyone who just registered, and then it is actually up to you, and everything depends on your effectiveness and ability to follow up and keep up with all the educational materials. So right now we're planning that we're gonna accept everyone who's registered, and next, it is up to you. It is up to how you progress and how successful you are with all the education process. Simple as that.
Yeah, one more thing, probably it's always also depends on the current demand. So mostly every time we have a number of open positions that you might really apply for, but it could happen. It's hard to predict, but it might happen that there might be less of the positions for a demand, and therefore the employment offering might be delayed a bit, something like that.
Okay, next one is nice. What is better, Java or JavaScript?
It would be good to ask additional details, better for what. So the area of application is really important.
Yeah, so Dmitry, please specify that one in case you can. Next, after Python, what will be closer to me?
I dare say it's probably Java, since Python is more, again, backend type. On the other hand, Python is interpreted, so you will feel some similarities with JavaScript as well. So again, I think it's pretty important. It's not about the particular language you choose. It's about you choosing engineering approaches and you being an engineer, and the languages will come. You'll learn all of them. So it's just you know, it's not a big difference in the end. Just choose wisely.
Okay, thank you guys. Next one is C++ and Java similar, and would it be easy to learn Java if you know C++?
Yeah, C++ is, well, Java is having C++ syntax, so it's probably like no-brainer from the syntax standpoint. It's even simpler than C++, so in some terms. So I think initially 20 years ago, 25 years ago, Java was targeted to port C++ engineers to Java. So it's one of the default choices if you are C++ guy. On the other hand, again, it's it's not really important. Syntax is just a start. You'll discover all ecosystem and things around. So it's I wouldn't choose the next language of choice by just syntax or the comparison.
Okay, yeah, thank you guys. Next, we have a comment from Denise saying that in case you like to see changes almost immediately, you can choose front-end with JS. In case you care about math, algorithms, challenges to optimize code to process more data, Java is close to you. Okay, guys, any more questions that you have up to this point? Just checking that we haven't missed anything. Doesn't seem that way. Okay, I'm taking over. Andrei, you can stop sharing.
Okay.
And now we're going back to menti.com and to our quiz. I'm going to be sharing my screen once again. Just a second. Okay, here's actually the retrospective view of the tech cloud that you have created and accumulated. It depicts kind of your choice and your associations. You can now compare with what you have seen described by Pavel, his point of view. And I believe that you can see the differences now, and it is more kind of clear what is Java for experienced Java developer comparing to your point of view. So for the quiz, please follow, in case you just joined, please follow the link menti.com. Please enter the code which is displayed here. It is actually 8 digits, not very easy to enter, but anyway. And before we actually proceed, well, in case you have been logged out, you can log in again. Before we actually proceed, we'll be waiting for players. We have many people here. I'm just reminding you that we're going to be raffling a present, a gift, in case you win. So we have only one present. It is a brand new smartwatch. So please pay attention to the questions. Speed matters. In case you're faster, you're going to get more points. In case you're slower, even if you answer the question correctly, you're going to get less points. So the math is simple. In case you answer the most number of questions with the highest speed, you'll actually be the winner. In case you win, please make the screenshot to actually prove your point so that we can identify you. And the link, the email address to which you will be able to send the link is going to be posted into the chat. So follow the chat, follow the questions, and well, good luck, everyone. We're going to have a series of 7 questions. In some questions, it's going to be a single answer. In some questions, it's going to be a multi-choice answer. So with the question, follow the menti.com on your mobile device or in your desktop app, depending on your preferences. And we're starting in just a few seconds. So hopefully, okay, we have 39 people. Good luck. First one. When Java language was first released, and you have 20 seconds to answer. As you know, Java have a very long-standing history because, well, it is not a brand new language. It is pretty old, some would say. And right now, Java release probably, well, every half a year, but long ago, it was very rare releases. And the first release was actually in 1996. That is when Java 1.1 was released. And we have 9 people who answered correctly. The answer 1991 is the wrong one. Probably Java was created first. It had some, I don't know, probably basic features. It has some very initial implementation, but it wasn't released to the public. So 1996 is the first answer, is the right answer, and we have 9 people answer correctly. And we can see the intermediate leaderboard. So it looks like we have a very, close race, but right now, Tom 80, actually, yeah, Tom 80 was the fastest one. Congrats, Tom. You were the fastest. Now, next to the second question, okay? Please prepare. Question 2. Remember to answer fast. What is the latest LTS release Java version? As you know, LTS stands for long-term support, and not every Java version has a long-term support. You should actually identify which is the latest LTS release Java version. And we have a number of options starting from Java 11 and ending with Java 15. Okay, time's up, and let's see what is the answer. Actually, it is Java 11, and it is not the most popular answer, actually. Right now, most of you, 14 people, have answered Java 15. No, it is not. Right now, the currently released LTS Java version is still 11. Next one is going to be Java 17. So every 6 releases, we're going to have an LTS version. And 7 people have answered correctly. Congrats, guys. We're going to skip the leaderboard for now, and let's move on to question 3. Remember to answer fast. Which one of these identifiers does not comply with Java language spec? And we have very peculiar, identifiers mentioned here. We have B4DS, we have 36 cars, we have hash with $, we have final with underscore, and we have opus. Okay, time's up. Let's see the answers. Okay, yeah. Actually, yeah, most of you, again, answered incorrectly. It is not opus. You can actually enter this Unicode and use this Unicode character without any issues. What is not allowed in Java is starting your identifier with digits. So 36 cars, it is not something that you can use. And we have 5 people right now who've answered that correctly, okay? Now, let's move to question number. Okay, we have, again, intermediate leaderboard, and we have dramatic changes here, actually. And we have the new player who has the most points. It is Baba Bisu. Congrats. And we have Adomas, who is runner-up. So right now we have a very close race between 2 players. Gonna be interesting, guys. Next question. What floor gem has been placed on within the MJC community building? That is, closely related to the previous answer that we had. Not answer to the previous presentation that we had. In case you remember the gym, in case you remember the house that was depicted there, what was actually the floor gym that was placed on within the MJC community building? We have ground floor, we have second floor, we have third floor, and we have on the roof. So we have most people having the first answer selected. We have second floor selected by 22%. We have third floor by 11%. And we have a roof selected by 8%. Well, and first was the right answer. Next question, 4 out of 7. Which one of these principles is not part of Solid? As you remember, Solid stands for 5 different principles, and one of the answers listed here is not part of that. So we have, for answers, single responsibility, we have open closed, list-scope substitution, independent segregation, and dependency injection. Which one of them is wrong? And we have 11 people who answered correctly. Yes, it is independent segregation. The most popular answer is the wrong one. List-scope substitution, which is actually part of solid. And next to question number 5. Remember to answer fast. From which Java version you can write the following code? Starting from which? For A equals equal sign and string hello, semicolon. Java from 8 to 12, or you can do that only in JavaScript. Okay, many people think that you can do that only in JavaScript, but no, in fact, you can use the var, identifier starting from Java 9. And many of you thought that that would be also Java 8, which is also not the correct answer here. Yes, it is Java 9, and 7 of you were correct. Next one. Okay, intermediate leaderboard, and yeah, again, we have some changes. We have a player who's actually very close to our previous leaders, Baba Bibu, I'm sorry in case I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, and Adomas. We have a person with the nickname Frontend who's very close, so it is going to be a race between 3 players mostly. Okay, let's see. Question 6. And it reads as, who's the person in the picture? What's that nice guy you can see here? It is either Brian Goetz, Jürgen Höller, Joshua Bloch, James Gosling, or, well, Ryan Gosling. So you have 5 seconds to enter your answer, and let's see the results. Time's up. Okay. Well, most of you were correct, in fact. Yes, it is actually James Gosling who created the Java language. Nice job. And now our last question of the quiz. So please pay attention. And again, answer fast to get more points. How many Java people approximately are in Lithuania? Use your best judgments, and we have 4 options here. Something around 500, something around 2,000, 10,000, or 20,000. We have still 5 seconds to complete all of the answers. 2, 1, and let's see what we got. We have the most popular answer being 10,000, but well, reality is that it is more like 2,000 right now, and 10 people have answered that correctly. Congrats, guys. And now going to the final results. Let's see who is actually the winner. Okay. Again, we have some very dramatic changes. And yeah, we have a person with a nickname Comer Carolina. Please make a screenshot to prove that you are that person, and congratulations. You have 3,000 points, and you are 250 points ahead of the runner-up. Yeah, congrats. Please make a screenshot right now. We should have the email posted in the chat, and you get the smartwatches. So I'm very happy for you, and hope that all of you enjoyed this very nice and little quiz that we have prepared for you. Before we actually wrap up, please answer how do you feel about Java now, and please let us know your thoughts by selecting one of these emotions, which are depicted here, and that would allow us to understand what do you think about the event, what do you feel about Java, how do you get the content, and what is the general impression of the Java-related skills, Java education, and whatnot. And we have a number of answers already. We have most people selecting number 4 and 5, which is very nice, I believe. And while we're at it, let's look for the questions that we may have for the time being. Okay, we have C++. We have some discussion on the game languages. I believe that it was discussed already in the chat, which is good. We have, please pay attention to the email, which is mentioned in the chat for the person who won the smartwatch. So please send a screenshot to the email mentioned in the chat. Right now, it is very good time to post any additional questions that you may have with regards to the whole event that we just had, 2 presentations and the quiz, in case, well, we had any questions related to the quiz. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping up this event, and hopefully you have enjoyed it and had a good time. We definitely had. And well, hopefully we're gonna see you very soon. Okay, guys, just a couple of seconds, just in case we have more questions coming here. Okay, we have a comment, really good event, thanks. Thank you.